Good morning. My name is Sarah Van Gomple, and I work here at York College. I've met most of you, but have not met all of you. I teach in the education department, and I was asked to speak on perspective this morning. I want to thank Mr. DeToro and Corey for their thoughts this week, and hopefully you have been looking for the signs, and you have been trying to be who you are and the core of you, even though it's a new year. I'm just going to share a little bit about perspective this morning. But before I do that, I'm going to ask the students who were not here in the fall to stand up one more time. So if you're new to York College, would you stand up one more time? Okay, York College, look around and see those faces and make sure you are welcoming to them and helping them. And I want to talk real quick about Michael from Florida. Where are you? Okay, Michael from Florida. I met Michael from Florida yesterday. He's playing on the basketball team. And I asked him about his experience at his old school versus York College. And he said the biggest difference about my old school compared to York College is everyone is friendly here. So Michael's perspective of York College is that you all are friendly. So I just want to encourage you to keep it up and to welcome the new people here and make them feel at home. So if you want to go ahead and I'm going to talk about 3 points today, and I love acronyms. It's kind of how I memorize things and got through college. So we're going to become hip on perspective today. We're going to talk about humor, we're going to talk about imagining that it's our last, and we're going to talk about playing our game. But before we do that, I have just a couple of clips to show you to help us realize that things are not always as they seem in life. And here's just one more. Okay, all right, and one of the points I want to prove with that is, who are you surrounding yourself with? Because maybe you think you're eating a brownie, but in reality, if you're eating the alternative, are your friends going to help point that out for you? It's very important that we see just with one vision and one direction, and our friends can hold us accountable and help point us in the right direction if we're actually not eating the brownie. So I'm going to focus on humor. I think it's important that we can look at situations and laugh at ourselves, and that we can make light of situations. I have a couple scenarios to read to you today. Here's one of them. When I first graduated from York College, I worked in the admissions department. I was giving a prospective student and his family a tour of campus. The family included both parents, grandparents, and a sibling. I was standing in front of the library when a gust of wind came and blew my blouse over my head, exposing my bra. I quickly put my blouse down and nobody said anything. They didn't laugh or make a comment. They just stayed silent. I finished the tour as fast as I could. This student decided not to come to York College. Okay, do you have a guess on which faculty or staff member this could be? Anybody know? Jared Stark. It's not Jared Stark. This was actually Coach Miller. Is she here today? All right, so I'm sure it was a huge deal to Coach Miller at the time, but as she looks back on the situation, it's just a small speck and probably doesn't even think about it anymore, except when I ask for an embarrassing moment. Okay, here's the next one. I was 16 and crushing hard on this girl. I was talking to her on the phone one afternoon, and my buddy Doug took the phone, ran into his room, and locked the door. This was not good because Doug was an idiot. He walks out of the room and tells me to get dressed because I had a date. Yes! Doug came through. I went home, ironed my clothes, washed the car, vacuumed it out, armor-alled it, and everything. Pulled out my mixtape for the right moment, called and got reservations to a nice restaurant, bought flowers, got a haircut, and I was ready for the date. 6:45 rolls around, time to leave. I walk outside and there's Doug, my family, and a few other friends, and all at once they bust out laughing. There was no date. Doug talked to her that afternoon, but all he did was ask her about homework. So there I was, all dressed up with flowers and no one to go out with. Thanks a lot, Doug. Anybody have an idea on who that was? Not Coach Garber. He might have a similar experience. It was Coach Madole. And he's not here today to talk to him about it, so you can catch him another time. So I think it's important to be able to laugh at ourselves and realize that next week this might not matter, next year. The important thing is, how do we handle the situation versus what happens? So let me look at my notes here. Okay, I'm going to give you a test, and I know it's just Scylla this week, and you don't have any tests this week, so this will probably be the only one that you experience. But I want you to look up here, and I want you to think in your mind, how would you describe what you see? How would you describe it? If you had to write on paper, what do you see up there? Most of us would say what? A dot, a gray dot. Maybe you talk about the location of the dot. The point is that we take for granted the white space. We focus on the dot, it sticks out, and we focus on the small dot-like failures in our life. And it's really hard to focus on the white space or some of the good things that are happening in our lives. Negative emotions program our brain, and it's great in like a fight or flight situation where you could experience death. But the crazy thing about the negative emotions is our brain is programmed to react the same way when it's something small. So if something small is obsessing our mind and we're consumed with it, we really shut off the outside world, and it limits our options. So just think about that. I'm going to go into the point of imagining it's your last. I want you to meet someone. This is Holly Butcher. Holly Butcher didn't, it was her last. You all sitting out here, you can live today like it's your last. Holly Butcher is 27. She just turned 27, and she passed away January 3rd with a rare form of cancer. And so she wrote this blog post, I don't know if any of you have seen it, but she gives us advice for living life like it's your last. And some of the things she focuses on are, tell your loved ones that you love them. If something is making you miserable, you have the power to change it. So do whatever you can to stop making it miserable. And then you go to the next one. There she is with her boyfriend. And she says, give, give, give. It is true that you gain more happiness by doing things for other people. I wish I did this more. Try just being in the moment, rather than capturing them through the screen of your phones. Who's got their phone out? Try to live in the moment. So that's a great example of Holly. It was actually her last. She passed away. You have an opportunity today to live like it's your last. Whether it's a game, whether it's your class, whether it's interacting with friends, just pretend like it's your last. For example, if my children were walking out the door and it was the last time you're going to see them, I probably wouldn't say, Sam, you didn't make your bed. You didn't put your clothes away. I would give him a hug and tell him that I loved him. And that's what we need to gear our minds for more, is focusing on those important things. Okay, and then the last one, so far we have, what's the first one? Humor. Humor is key. What's the second one? Imagine it's your last. And the third one is play your game. I'm not a real football fan, but how many of you watched the national championship game? Okay, lots of us did. I don't know if you were Alabama or Georgia. Okay. But I I'm working on my syllabi, and my husband keeps saying, why is Jalen benched? Why is he benched? And I'm like, Ken, you've asked that like 3 times. And Jalen Hurts was the starting quarterback for Alabama. He played in 14 games. He had 2,868 yards and 25 touchdowns. And he was benched for the complete second half of the game. And then this is just a quick interview with him, and so I'll continue after we watch this.
Jalen, you've just been shaking your head. You've had that smile on your face. Your reaction when you found out Tua was going to start the second half, honestly.
He was going to step in and do his thing. You know, we have a lot of guys in the QB room that play really well, and he stepped in and did his thing. Did his thing for the team.
In every offensive huddle, you were right there next to him throughout the second half and overtime. What was your message to him?
Ball. Play your game. Ball. You know, he's destined for stuff like this. He's built for stuff like this. You know, he has that impact, and I'm so happy for him, happy for this team.
What does it mean to you to be a national champion?
It's unbelievable. I dreamed about this.
Congratulations, Jalen.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you see an awesome example of gracious sportsmanship. He was focused on gratitude when he could have had the alternative approach to the situation. So in our lives, whether you're sitting on the bench or you're playing in the game, you have choices to make about what comes out of your mouth, about what goes in your mind, and you get to decide the actions that you make. It could be the bench in life, and it could be the bench on a team. So just remember that expressing gratitude is very important. And the last thing I want to leave you with is the perspective that the Lord has for us. And Jeremiah 29:11 is one of my favorite verses. That God, He doesn't want to harm us. He wants to give us hope, and He wants to give us a future. So my challenge to you is to express gratitude to somebody today. Not just, wow, I think you're a great person, I really appreciate you. Specific gratitude. Because when we express specific gratitude, it helps us understand what we truly value. So I'm going to give you just a quick example of this. Let's see, Nick Brown and Rock Johnson, are you here? Would you guys stand up for just a minute? Where are you? Nick's here. Where's Rock? Okay, Rock's there. Okay, these guys were invited to my son's seven-year-old birthday party. Okay? 2 hours with about 10 7-year-olds. They both showed up, were there the whole time. I think Rock was the first one there. Let kids climb all over them. They played basketball with them, they passed, they dunked for them, and completely interacted with them. And I appreciate that. Sam sees them as his heroes. You guys will go ahead and sit down. So that's a specific example of gratitude. Not just that they're great guys, but what exactly did they do that I am thankful for. So I would challenge you to express gratitude to somebody today, whether through an email or personally. And that's it. Thank you so much.